In today's Retro Review, we talk about Plato's Stepchildren after this. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd. And talking about Plato's Stepchildren, this is one of those things that give Star Trek a bad name. Now, the one thing that came out of this episode was the controversial kiss with Nichelle Nichols. Now, nobody knew at that time that William Shatner was having an affair with Nichelle Nichols, and so was Gene Roddenberry, interestingly. However, the case, how it was played was a very reluctant Kirk kisses Nichelle Nichols, or Lieutenant Uhura. And at the same time, a very reluctant Spock is kissing Christine Chapel. However, even Shatner himself said at some time later that he probably overplayed that and should have gone more naturally into it without looking like he was resisting because it was her, but rather just one of his officers. And it bothers me, too, that Uhura is still scared. I'm frightened, Captain, which seems to be one of her biggest lines, despite the fact that she's a bridge officer. Very seldom has she been able to show any depth to her character more than just being the victim or being the potential victim. However, beyond that, they at least set it up properly where this group of Plato's stepchildren were aliens whose star went nova, and by eugenics, they picked the best of their people, and they went to Earth and were fascinated by the philosophy of Plato, and when they left the Earth to the planet that they're now on, they decided to mimic the society of that time, and only a few months later developed telekinesis due to a chemical called curanide, which was available in the foods that they eat. All but one little person by the name of Alexander who has not the telekinetic power and is treated like a slave. And so, of course, it's easy enough for McCoy and his little kit to synthesize curanide just without even turning on his tricorder, and injects Kirk and Spock and himself with double the potency of what Parman has in his blood, and they are able then to beat him at his own game and then threaten him that anybody then can take this serum and go down and whip them up, the bunch of them. So don't mess with us anymore. They beam up to the ship and they go off into the sunset or whatever. Like I was saying, that their way that they model their society is okay. I mean, it's not as bad as some of the Earth parallels where just out of the wild blue they decide to have their own Hitler or their own Rome, but with the same names even. I mean, it shows that Shatner and Nimoy can dance and sing, and there's a lot of athletics there. It's quite obvious in one place where the Spanish dance is being done by a body double for Leonard Nimoy, and obviously, there was some work for the stunt doubles in this episode. So there was action, but there really wasn't much story to it. Did these people really learn anything from this? Probably not. Did we learn anything from it? Probably not. All we know is that Alexander got himself off the planet, which was the only thing that really moved forward in this whole thing. So a lot of this seemed to be kind of contrived and whipped up fairly early, and a thing you could use with minimal set pieces that were already around in the prop department and costume department, and the opportunity to take them out of their Trekkie suits and put them in more revealing outfits. And what does it say about the advancement of humanity? Does it say anything? And I don't really think it does. I mean, they give lip service to, we're better people because, we wear uniforms and fly through space and live in a utopian society. But Harmon's people are basically saying the same thing. What's the difference? So it's not really that good a show, and I think without the kiss between Kirk and Uhura, it probably would be completely forgotten. That's my take on this. I'd say it's not really that worthy of watching, but we move on. Next week, I think there's going to be something a little more compelling, and we'll review that. Of course, we have Babylon 5 coming up on Friday. We're going to do yet another reflection on the 3 specials of Doctor Who on Monday, and other things as they occur. So thank you for joining us. Until next time, don't go far.